war is 1 week old, and two things have happened simultaneously that define exactly where it is going and how far apart the two sides actually are. Trump posted on Truth Social, "There will be no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender, full stop, capital letters, exclamation mark." Hours later, Vladimir Putin called Iran's President Pezeshkian and told him Russia demands an immediate ceasefire and a return to diplomacy. Two of the most powerful men on earth, diametrically opposite positions, both issued on the same Friday afternoon. That collision is where this war stands as it enters its second week. Start with Trump's position, because it is the one that controls the military campaign. The unconditional surrender post was not an off-the-cuff remark. It was a deliberate, presidentially authored statement published on his own platform and immediately amplified by the White House official account. The full text matters. Trump wrote, "There will be no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender. After that and the selection of a great and acceptable leader, we and many of our wonderful and very brave allies and partners will work tirelessly to bring Iran back from the brink of destruction, making it economically bigger, better and stronger than ever before. Iran will have a great future. Make Iran great again." White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt then defined on Fox News what unconditional surrender actually means in operational terms. It means Trump determining that Iran can no longer pose a threat to the United States and its troops in the Middle East. Leavitt listed 4 specific objectives that must be met before that determination can be made. Iran's navy destroyed, its ballistic missile threat eliminated, its path to a nuclear weapon closed permanently, and its regional proxy network dismantled. She then added the timeline that has received insufficient attention. The US expects the war to continue for approximately 4 to 6 more weeks. 4 to 6 more weeks. That is not a ceasefire timeline. That is a campaign continuation timeline. It means the White House is planning for this war to run through April and potentially into mid-May. It means the Strait of Hormuz closure, the oil price surge, the displaced populations in Beirut and across Lebanon, the stranded tankers, the Gulf state missile impacts, and the American soldiers in the line of fire. All of that continues for at least another month by the administration's own planning estimate. Trump went further in his CNN interview. He said he has to be involved in choosing who replaces Khamenei. He separately described Mojtaba Khamenei, the dead Supreme Leader's son, as a lightweight and said the appointment is unacceptable to me. He compared the Iran situation to Venezuela, where Delcy Rodriguez replaced Nicolas Maduro after the US abducted him in January, saying it will work out easily the same way. The implication is clear and it is significant. The United States is not just conducting a military campaign against Iran's capabilities. It is openly asserting the right to determine who governs Iran after the campaign ends. That position goes beyond the stated military objectives Leavitt listed. It is a regime change position stated plainly by the President of the United States in a CNN interview, framed not as aspiration but as expectation. Now set that against what the military campaign has actually achieved in 7 days, because the scorecard is the context in which the unconditional surrender demand must be evaluated. CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper confirmed at a Pentagon briefing Thursday that Iranian ballistic missile attacks have decreased by 90% since day one. Drone attacks are down 83%. The US has struck approximately 2,000 targets. It has dropped dozens of 2,000-pound penetrative bombs on deeply buried ballistic missile launchers. Iran's navy, 30 warships confirmed destroyed, including the Iris Dina torpedoed in the Indian Ocean, is what Cooper called combat ineffective. Iran's equivalent of Space Command has been struck. The underground bunker beneath the Tehran leadership compound was destroyed Friday morning by 50 Israeli jets dropping 100 munitions. That is a significant military degradation by any objective measure. But here is what unconditional surrender requires beyond military degradation. It requires Iran to stop fighting entirely, to accept US-selected leadership, to permanently abandon its nuclear program, program to dismantle its proxy network across Lebanon, Iraq, Yemen and Gaza, to surrender not just its military capacity but its political independence and its regional strategy simultaneously. Iran has not done any of those things. It is still firing 20 missiles a day compared to 90 on day one, but still firing. It struck a US-owned oil tanker off Kuwait on Friday using the Khorramshahr 4, one of the heaviest conventional warheads in Iran's inventory. It targeted Qatar with 10 drones, 9 intercepted, 1 getting through. It launched drones at a US military base near Erbil in Iraq's Kurdish region. A country firing 2-ton warheads at American ships is not a country preparing to surrender unconditionally. Iran's diplomatic position on Friday was defined by 2 parallel moves that mirror the dual-track posture it has maintained throughout this conflict. Pezeshkian posted publicly that some countries have begun mediation efforts, adding that Iran is committed to lasting peace but has no hesitation in defending national dignity and sovereignty, and that mediation should address those who underestimated the Iranian people and ignited this conflict. That last phrase, that those who underestimated the Iranian people, is Iran publicly insisting that any mediation framework must assign blame for starting the war to the United States and Israel. That is not a ceasefire request. It is a precondition for talks that Washington has already rejected. Then came Putin. The Kremlin confirmed Friday night that Putin called Pezeshkian, expressed condolences over the killing of Khamenei and Iranian civilians, and reaffirmed Russia's principled stance in favor of an immediate cessation of hostilities, the rejection of force as a method to solve any issues surrounding Iran, and a swift return to diplomatic resolution. Putin separately told the Kremlin he is in constant contact with the leaders of Gulf Cooperation Council member states. Pezeshkian thanked Russia for its solidarity. The Kremlin confirmed contacts between Moscow and Tehran will continue. Read that Putin call in the context of the Washington Post report published 24 hours earlier that Russia has been feeding Iran the locations of US warships and aircraft to help it target American forces. The Kremlin has not denied that report. The White House acknowledged it Friday in a statement that said peace with Russia over Ukraine remains possible despite the intelligence sharing, a formulation that is striking for what it reveals about Washington's priorities. The administration is separating the Russia intelligence sharing from the Russia-Ukraine file, treating them as parallel tracks rather than connected issues, and choosing not to escalate against Moscow over the targeting assistance. Putin called for a ceasefire publicly on Friday evening. Russia was reportedly helping Iran find American ships to hit on Friday morning, both simultaneously, the same dual-track pattern that has characterized every actor in this conflict from day one. Trump's Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff added one more layer to the diplomatic picture that has not received the attention it deserves. Speaking Thursday at a conference in Florida, Witkoff said he hopes there is a diplomatic resolution and listed the 4 issues Washington needs resolved: nuclear enrichment, missile inventory reduction, the approximately 2,000 kilograms of enriched uranium Iran currently holds, and the proxies. He said the Trump administration has opened direct communications with Iranian officials. He confirmed the administration communicated with Iranians specifically about concerns over mass executions of protesters. That communication channel, direct, active and confirmed by Trump's own envoy on Thursday, exists in direct tension with Trump's unconditional surrender post on Friday. Witkoff is talking to Iranians. Trump is demanding their unconditional surrender. Both are happening simultaneously inside the same administration. IDF Chief of Staff Samir addressed Northern Border Mayors Friday and told them this is a great opportunity, significant work is being done, and they should prepare for a prolonged campaign. The US State Department approved the emergency sale of 12,000 aerial bombs to Israel, bypassing the standard congressional notification process. The weapons pipeline is accelerating at the same moment the diplomatic language is escalating. The bottom line on day 7 entering week 2 is this: Trump has defined the war's endpoint as unconditional surrender and and US-selected leadership for Iran, the most expansive war objective stated by an American president since the Second World War. His own envoy is talking to Iranians directly. His press secretary says the war runs 4 to 6 more weeks. His military has degraded Iran's capabilities significantly, but not stopped its ability to fire. Russia is publicly demanding a ceasefire and privately helping Iran target Americans. And Iran is still fighting, damaged, depleted, but firing 2-ton warheads at US ships, while its president posts about mediation on social media. The distance between where Trump says this ends and where Iran says it ends is not a negotiating gap. It is a chasm, and the 4 to 6 weeks, Levitt confirmed, will determine whether anything crosses it.